This video is on the British Seagull HT lead full assembly and disassembly. This is the most common one here on the white pack ignition. They do vary slightly. Covers can be different. You can be aftermarket covers put onto some of them, but this is the original here. We can start at this end. So the plug cap, you can see down inside here is where your plug goes in. Your plug goes down in here, and you turn this and the screws on your plug cap to your plug. So what we'll do is we'll pull back the rubber boot. This video is mainly just to show if you have parts missing or you need to change them, this is the easiest way to do it. Pull back your boot out of the way, remove this from here. Just put that aside a second. This is like a 3-piece assembly. You have the main cup, you have the screw here to screw onto the top of your plug, and you have one plastic retaining washer on the inside. You can see roughly there's a split in the washer. Hopefully you can see that there. So you just apply pressure from the bottom on the screw part, pull it downwards and try and split that washer, and out she pops. So you have this, you have your cover, and you have your retaining washer. The retaining washer sits into this retaining groove that runs around this screw part here that's threaded on the inside. When that sits inside there, you put up from the underneath and you put on your split washer. So that's just the 3 of those if you need to replace those. This is just clamped, squeezed tight around your wire here. Make sure that that's either sanded or foiled lightly, just so there's a nice surface there for your. That's just a rubber boot that you can slide it on and off. It's just to retain and stop any water from running back into here on this one. Back to here, then you have your lead running all the ways into your piece here that goes into the base plate of the Seagull. Pushes up, and this tip here touches the inside of your coil, and your current travels down through this little coil spring that's here. You can see this little coil spring that runs down into here, out along and out back in through your cap. So I'll just show you how to remove that. Just pull up the spring a tiny bit and pull the tip to the side, and you may be able to see a screw head, flathead screw. Use a very thin flathead. You'll find that this space isn't that wide. If you use a thicker one, you might actually break that spring. So we go down into the screw, we'll back that out. Should be able to back that out handy enough. Out she comes. So what you have here is you have, hopefully the camera will pick it up there now, you have your screw. Your little coil of wire is wrapped around this screw and goes in around this tip. Always make sure that that tip is fairly clean. Give it a light sand, it'll connect much better. And with that, you can just pull this straight out, and that'll come out like that. Then that's where you can probably see there where that's where the screw has actually gone in through the wire, so that makes the connection when it goes down. When your screw travels down into here, it actually passes into the wire and it'll get into the core of the wire, and that's how you have your connection. So that's more or less it there, and I'll just reassemble it there again. If you have your wire, put it back in and make sure it's pushed in all the way tight, really tight, so it's backed up against here. Put back in your screw. Screw that back down. Just be very careful, that little coil of wire that's there, that will break quite easily. Yeah, that's bottomed out. just make sure that you kind of turn it and coil it back in, so that it will sit somewhat straight inside in your, when it goes into your coil, it's going to go in and go straight back in. So we'll just put that away again for a second, and we'll reassemble this. So we just drop that in there, push that down. Here's a retaining, this is a little plastic washer. You could probably make one of those up. Just drop that in there, and we'll put it back over that. And we get our long nose pliers and just push down. That should be it there now. Yeah, and it won't pull out, it won't pull apart. It'll stay in there. And you can reassemble it that way. Now I have seen a few of them where this piece has actually broken and all that's left is this, and you could see this coming in through your plug, and you would have to see it screwed on. I've seen tips like this that are actually screwed on as well, that actually hold them down. I've seen some of the more modern ones where this has been cut and they've put this onto it and screwed it on. They work quite as well, but this is the original setup. So what we do is we push this back in, and that hole should line up with this hole. So it's a push fit. You have to just, what I find helps is if you put the boot on so that the two holes align, the boot actually tends to hold it. You can see there now that they're aligned fairly well there now. Make sure your boot is over to keep all that water out. And you should, when you push this back onto your base plate, when you go to put onto your plug onto it, you just find your center. It'll find its center, and you'll be able to screw it back on. You see the plug getting sucked up into that there now, and she's very tight there now. And that's just your assembly there for your HT lead. Very simple, but just be careful with it and don't be heavy-handed, especially with this end of it here. That spring is quite fragile. And that's it, ready to go. There'll be more Seagull videos there again this week and next week, and there should be some fishing videos coming up soon in March, both from the shore and from the boat, and a bit of bait collecting as well. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.